Hello, and welcome to the weekly broadcast of Strategic Speaking for Results. I'm Elizabeth Bachman, your host, and today we're talking about the Great Resignation from the point of view of the employee. I have so many clients who say, I'm ready to just walk out, forget it, take care, to just walk away. The thing is, there are way more dysfunctional companies than there are ones that are truly wonderful, unfortunately. And there are always going to be moments of conflict, always going to be places where you you have a hard time with people. There are always going to be managers who drive you crazy, who are doing the best they can, maybe, but it may not be worth it. The grass is not necessarily greener on the other side of the fence because everywhere you go, you have people and you take yourself with you. So the question is, how can you maybe make things better before you leave? If you really do need to leave, do it without leaving bleeding bodies behind you. Part of this is, what is it that you are responding to? What are your reactions? What are the things that trigger you? So there are three things we're going to talk about today. One is what triggers you and what you can do about it, how you can manage up, and how you can find your allies. I had a very interesting conversation last week with Jacqueline Wales and Joy Selden. I'll post the link in the comments where we go into that in more depth. First of all, make sure that you have time for yourself to reflect. So here's the number one. Make sure that you take time. Maybe when you're doing the weekly update email. I've talked about that a lot before. If you're curious, shoot me a message and I'll send you the information. Use that as time to reflect on yourself, what you're doing well, especially, and what might be triggering you. I know of people in my life who grew up in families where if they were attacked, they had to fight back, because if you didn't fight back, you'd get chewed up and spit out. Or some of us grew up in families where if there was conflict, we just ran away, disappeared, deflected it. Nobody likes conflict. Nobody likes difficult conversations. Part of this is awareness is everything. Make sure you know what is triggering you and what your reaction is likely to be. The second thing is who's triggering you and what might be pushing them. What are their triggers? Use the technique of strategic empathy to put yourself in their shoes. It's rule number one. Rule number one for presenters, wherever you are within an organization or in public. Use that with the people who are giving you a hard time. What is it that's triggering them? And what might be behind it? Then see if you can talk to them. Have the conversation with not you're doing something wrong, but schedule a time. If you can do lunch, or if you can speak at a time that is outside the regular pressures of work, and say, I want to know, how can I help? How can we talk about this? How can we manage this? When you do this, I react that way, or it pushes my buttons. If you can find out and get them, enroll them basically into being your ally, then you've made a friend. You may have a mentor. They may be able to help you. If they are absolutely not going to listen to you, then you can skip around them and find out who they listen to. Who do they listen to? Maybe you can have an ally there who can help you manage the conversation. The key is if you just leave, it doesn't change anything for the rest of your colleagues. If you just leave, you might be taking the same problems, your part of them, with you. Try to solve it first. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, but the more you are aware and the more you have these tools, the better life will be for everyone. I'll put some links in the comments on what you can do about this. If you have any questions, send me a message. I'll be happy to talk about it. This has been Strategic Speaking for Results. I'll see you on the next one.